Senator Lindsey Graham delivered a harsh rebuke of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky following a tense Oval Office meeting with former President Donald Trump. Graham, visibly frustrated, described the interaction as a complete and utter disaster, questioning whether the U.S. could continue working with Zelensky under the current circumstances.
All right,
For you, for us.
so what do I think? Complete, utter disaster. I've been to Ukraine 8 or 9 times since the war started. I understand the consequences of Putin's actions against Ukraine. I appreciate what the Ukrainian people have done. They fought like tigers. At the end of the day, I was hoping that this minerals deal, which would be transformative in the relationship, would go over well. I talked to Zelensky this morning. Don't take the bait. President Trump was in a very good mood last night. Somebody asked me, am I embarrassed about Trump? I have never been more proud of the president. I was very proud of J.D. Vance standing up for our country. We want to be helpful. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again. I think most Americans saw a guy that they would not want to go in business with. The way he handled the meeting, the way he confronted the president was just over the top. So I think the relationship between Ukraine and America is important, vitally important. But can Zelensky do a deal with the United States? After what I saw, I don't know.
Well, he needs this. He's on the drain. He just and was with President Trump. What did he say to you about his interactions and whether he thinks
he was shocked? He was very upbeat. I told Zelensky, we'll talk about security guarantees. We'll talk about ceasefires and how the war ends. This is a process. You have a new relationship with America, a $500 billion, half a $1 trillion deal that President Trump is proud of, that gives us an interest worth defending. Let's talk about the positive. But he was terrible at Munich, Zelensky, and I think he has made it almost impossible to sell to the American people that he's a good investment, that he is a good business.
Hey, one at a time. One at a time.
Kristen Dakey, Senator Graham, thank you. Do you think President Zelensky needs to resign to resume these peace talks?
He either needs to resign and send somebody over that we can do business with, or he needs to change.
What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, Graham told reporters. I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again. He either needs to resign and send somebody over that we can do business with, or he needs to change. The meeting, initially set to discuss a $500 billion minerals deal between the U.S. and Ukraine, quickly soured. Trump abruptly ended the conversation, canceling a scheduled press conference and dismissing Zelensky from the Oval Office. The fallout raises serious doubts about the future of U.S. support for Ukraine, which has been reliant on American aid amid its prolonged war with Russia. Graham's criticism marks a significant shift. The South Carolina senator has visited Ukraine multiple times since the Russian invasion in 2022 and has been an outspoken advocate for Kyiv's resistance. However, he expressed disappointment in Zelensky's approach, particularly after the Ukrainian leader's recent appeals at the Munich Security Conference. Graham indicated that Zelensky's handling of the situation made it almost impossible to justify continued support to the American public. I appreciate what the Ukrainian people have done. They fought like tigers, Graham said. But the way he handled the meeting, the way he confronted the president, it was just over the top. Most Americans saw a guy they would not want to do business with. Graham's remarks align with growing frustration among Republican lawmakers over the U.S.'s extensive financial commitment to Ukraine. Since 2022, the U.S. Treasury has allocated $174 billion in military and economic aid to Ukraine. Yet, after years of fighting and significant troop losses, victory remains elusive. While European leaders swiftly reaffirmed their support for Ukraine, pledging additional aid, Graham's warning signaled a potential policy shift. This is a process, he said. You have a new relationship with America, A $500 billion deal that President Trump is proud of, that gives us an interest worth defending. But Zelensky was terrible at Munich, and I think he has made it almost impossible to sell to the American people that he's a good investment. The strong language sent shockwaves across the international stage. Russia, predictably, seized on the discord. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev mocked Zelensky's treatment in Washington, calling it a proper rebuke and a sign of waning Western support. Despite the backlash, Graham left the door open, albeit slightly, for Zelensky to repair relations. "We want to be helpful," he said. "But after what I saw, I don't know." The fate of U.S. Ukraine relations now hangs in the balance, with Graham's ultimatum underscoring the growing skepticism toward Zelensky within key Republican circles. Whether the Ukrainian leader can salvage support or if a leadership shakeup is inevitable remains to be seen.